Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg with Cloudcast Media. You're going to be listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 20th year. Very proud of that. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things for folks in San Diego County, whether it's food insecurity or working with the homeless, Alzheimer's, financial literacy. They are on their game. We are thrilled to have in the studio with us Fern Street Circus, and for our listeners, yes, that is the Fern Street Circus. That's been coming on the show for quite a while. Honored to have Marcela Mercado on. She is the program director, joined by her colleague, Catalina Paz, artistic director. How you doing, Marcela and Catalina?
I'm doing pretty good.
Happy to be here again.
Yeah, absolutely, without question. Joined by my co-host in her 4th year, co-hosting the Spotlight on the Community Show. I'm forever grateful about that, and that is Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc. And Kristen, you're on.
All right, let's take it away. So just tell us a little bit for the 2 people in San Diego that don't know Fern Street Circus, what you all do.
Fern Street Circus has been in the community for more than 30 years. They started at Golden Hill. I started with John and Cindy, John Hikins and Cindy Zimmerman. They started kind of creating like a safe space at a rec center for kids and families. They started teaching them circus skills, and it's been going on for a long time in the community, free of charge. They moved to City Heights, so that's where we're currently at right now in City Heights, teaching students, kind of having a space for the families to do family service, resources, free of charge as well. So it's a fun environment, circus fun for City Heights students.
That's amazing. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How did both of you get involved? Tell me kind of your story, how you got here.
I am a professional clown.
Okay.
That's how I kind of got recruited 4 years ago with the neighborhood tour, and just started performing. They asked me if I could teach, and one thing led to another, and it's been wonderful 4 years with the Fern Street Circus.
Yeah, that sort of leads me to the question, Kristen, and I'll start with Marcela on this, and you can add to it, Catalina. Why circus? Why not something else? I mean, I know circus is a good one. Everyone enjoys the circus and the 4 billion things that go with it, but it just seems so interesting. Is there other circuses for like Fern Street around the country, around the community? I don't know of any.
Fern Street Circus is a unique program in the community, and it's something that has been there for my family. I started as a parent, bringing my kids to the after-school program. I joined the board. John said, I have a little bit of funding and I can hire you as part-time. So I came as part-time, learning about everything that they do, how the money comes in, how to kind of organize the programs, the teaching artists, the families, get everyone involved in the community with Fern Street Circus. Then we had a temporary space in an outdoor lot. So we had to be really creative. Mm-hmm. Like we had to put like tents, we had to put porta potties, we had to be really creative and kind of organize all that. Then we moved to an indoor old school, the old Central Elementary in City Heights. Right. So that's where Fern Street Circus is currently right now. It's also temporary because they're gonna redevelop housing for San Diego Unified staff and employees. So we are currently activating an outdoor lot across the street from the school. So it's kind of bringing all that creative from the circus. And currently, program director, And as of May 1st, I took the role of executive director. John went to part-time.
Congratulations.
He's still involved with the organization. He still has a lot to share to us so we can continue giving everything that we have done for Fern Street Circus, along with the core staff that we have in the office. We're all going to be working together to make Fern Street Circus successful for more than 30 years.
No, I think that's a great story on this. But Catalina, you mentioned you're a professional clown, right? And,
Yes.
and there's some professional clowns have to go through training and take courses and all that business. And I'm sure that Kristen in her mind is going, but you're an amateur clown, Drew, and I know you've been wanting to say it, so I just beat you to it.
All right,
okay?
there you go.
Okay, and this, besides doing the clowning, if that's the right word, what other types of circus activity goes on with Fern Street Circus?
One of the things that makes Fern Street Circus a very unique place is that we focus on social circus. So that means that our goal is to teach social skills to our participants. So we use the circus arts as a medium to teach that. So juggling, acrobatics, clowning, flexibility, but we do focus a lot in teamwork, anything that gets students talking to each other, comfortable in their bodies.
But no lion taming?
No lion taming, but there is a lot of taming that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure.
But are there animals involved with the circus or not?
Well, this year we have our tour that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And we have opted out for insects. So we have
Really?
a couple of ladybugs and bees.
Can
and
you
some
share how they tie into the
cucarachas.
circus?
Huh?
Can you share, without making a spoiler alert on it, how do they tie in?
Well, it all started with our community garden, part of our family services. And parents got together and created this beautiful garden that served as an inspiration for this year tour.
Right. So if our listeners said, listen, I've got some skills when it comes to juggling or doing whatever the case may be, can people sign up and become a performer in Fern Street Circus, Marcela?
Yes, they can follow us on social media, Fern Street Circus, or they can send us a message through the website that we have. And then we can kind of share what we have, and they can come and visit our space and see if they have a good fit. Currently, we have in the performances, we have jugglers, acrobats, tight wires, clowns, physical theater, a little bit of everything. We also have musicians in the neighborhood tour, and we have 2 more shows coming up, May 16 and May 17, North Park and Azalea Park in City Heights. And it's a free to the community. Bring your family, bring the kids. It's something that's happening. I know there's a lot of things going on in the world, but just bring. And the show is called Seeds of Joy, Semillas de Alegría. So it's just spreading the joy that we have with everyone around us in the community.
Well, I mean, I imagine your son would enjoy this, would it not,
Oh
Christine?
my God, are you kidding me? Yeah, it'd be way up his alley. Yeah. Which leads me to, so tell me a little bit about the programming. Do you have a wait list? How do people get involved? Is there a selection process since it's free? How does all of that work?
The program that we have is in City Heights. We service the students that go to the City Heights schools, the 92105, and also the Hoover Cluster, San Diego Unified Schools. Our program is 6 years to 17. We currently manage 40 to 45 kids Mondays and Wednesdays. That's our beginning program. It's an after-school program, and it's based on the needs of the community, especially like the communities that we serve in City Heights and the families and the students. So yes, it's something that we are trying to keep in City Heights community students. We do kind of perform around San Diego, and that's where we kind of visit different parks, and the community wants to get involved. They come and visit our program. Maybe it's a good fit for them. Maybe it's not a good fit. But yeah, it's all based on the City Heights community 92105.
Yeah, we're chatting with Marcela Mercado. She is the program director for Fern Street Circus, joined by her colleague, Catalina Paz, artistic director for the Circus. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, nation's longest-running community podcast, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 60 years of just doing great things in the community, joined by my co-host, Kristen Vogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc. So got to ask you this question, Catalina. So you guys do some performances at the airport, is that correct?
Yes, we finished our residency early this year.
And it's called Clowning Through the Terminal?
Yes.
So tell me what that is it both terminals or just one terminal?
We actually got to perform in both. We focused most of our work in the old terminal, Terminal 2.
Sure.
But it was a wonderful experience. It's actually called Wonders of Traveling, Clowning Through the Terminal.
Thank you
It's a long name.
Thank you very much. So it would have been, I just got back from the airport. It was in Terminal 1, though, in this aspect of it. So people now are ready to get on their planes and all this, and all of a sudden to see you and your clown friends. And are jugglers also in it, or pretty much just the clowning?
Our bass performers, it was a duet, Abuelita and Gerald. They're two seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And
seniors as in elderly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And they're clowns?
They're clowns.
Very good.
I mean, it's Abuelita is me as a 94-year-old woman.
Thank you.
For the clarification.
Wanted to get some clarification there, okay. And somebody else is about your age, is a 94-year-old, 5-year-old?
Yeah, he's a little younger than Abuelita, but
okay.
they're happily married as of 2 years.
Oh, is that right? Okay. I like that idea. Then how long do you perform for, and what do you do?
We had a residency, 6 months residency at the airport.
Right.
And we were performing every other week.
Okay.
And we had a pop-up kind of thing where Abuelita and Gerald would go to different parts of the terminal and offer services like emotional baggage drop-off, where you can get rid of anything that is heavy
That's so
on
cool.
you.
So creative.
We had clown spa with absurd relaxation techniques. We had feather tickling. We had fart sound healing.
Nice.
Tiny hands massage. The airport also allowed us to drive the airport cart, the passenger cart.
Awesome.
So we came up with Royal Taxi, where we would offer the actual service, but then we will ask them, would you like the royal treatment? And if they said yes, we'll come up with a cape and a crown.
Nice.
And I had a megaphone, and I would just start telling people to bow down for Queen of Gate number 32. It was such a blast. And we also had, for the holidays, we had circus parades. So around 8 people, including musicians, stilt walkers, jugglers. It was a wonderful time.
You know, that is beyond brilliant, Kristen, when you think about it, because there's not too many things that you put on the list of, well, I'll guarantee it's going to be a stressful time than the airport.
Yeah.
Is your plane going to be on time? Are they overbooked? Are they X, Y, and Z? How long is security going to be? So doing this is wonderful. My goodness.
And it was around the government shutdown, the long lines.
TCA.
And so we focused post-security just to kind of have people, pass the stressful and get them in a kind of, they just have to wait there, so there's nothing else for them to do, and it's like very fast audience. And we also, me and my clown partner, we trained as healthcare clowns, and so we learned a lot of the technique of one-on-one, and that was very interesting because in that setting, clowning doesn't. It's not about being funny and entertaining. It's about more of a connection. And so you have to listen to what the person wants, and you have like maybe half a second to figure all of that out.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful, and what we discovered is that most people just want to connect and be seen, not to be laughing.
The more I think of it, I think it's fantastic. We come back from break. Let's talk more about what you folks are doing. We always save some time at the second half of the interview for what our listeners can do to support. Obviously, funding is important and so forth, maybe volunteering as well when we return with our friends from the Fern Street Circus, Marcela Mercado. She is the program director, Catalina Paz, artistic director. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We will be right back after this short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. So pleased to have back in the studio our friends from Fern Street Circus, Marcela Mercado, program director, joined by her colleague Catalina Paz, artistic director, and I'm with my colleague, and she is no clown, I'll tell you that right now. And that is,
slightly.
That's true. She likes to have fun. Kristen Fogel, she is the executive director of San Diego Writers Inc. How cool is that to be at the airport doing that stuff?
I mean, I don't know who came up with the airport residencies, but there have been like a number of groups that like have done such cool. Our friends Sunny and Anthony from Poets Underground, they had a residency there where, you know, they did like live, basically poetry outreach and things like that. And I don't know, I love this so much. I was reading the little thing about how it says inviting travelers to revel in the absurd side of travel. Like sometimes I think that we just need that, you know, to just
100%.
visit, you know, everything is absurd. Like it's all ridiculous. Like let's just take a moment, like touch grass, like just, you know what I mean?
Well, listen, you know, anybody, unless they've never flown in recent years, know that that's one of the things that is most elevated is airport travel.
Yeah.
For whether it's a shutdown or whether it's, you know, planes being late or all that business. And
I would just want to say, you know, we were talking a lot about like the arts and culture funding being slashed. I mean, what a great way to come to San Diego and be reminded just how artistic and amazing this community is, right?
Yeah, there's no question about that. So, you know, Marcelo, and you can add to it as well, Catalina, you know, what can our listeners do? Obviously, they can donate, they can volunteer. What else can they do to support Fern Street Circus?
Follow us on social media. Reach out if you want to donate, if you want to volunteer. There's fernstreetcircus.com. Come out to the neighborhood tour. There's 2 last shows that we're going to be performing free of charge in the community, North Park and Azalea Park. You'll have fun. There's going to be a live band there, performers, a lot of fun and a lot of joy.
You know, if somebody wants to, you know, do what you're doing, Catalina, and being a professional clown, can they do sort of an internship with Fern Street Circus and learn how to become a clown, or you got to be a clown before you get involved with Fern Street Circus?
I think there's different ways. There's a lot of possibility at Fern Street Circus, especially because our focus is community. So I think the number one thing is like people that want to be there and support
Right.
us, support each other. I think that's the first requisite. And then the clown comes out even when you don't want to.
Right. But do you do any of the juggling at the airport, or that's a little too dangerous to do?
We did some juggling. Yeah. We had the balls, and it was very safe.
Did some of the passengers jump in and do that too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I would love to see, if I'm waiting for a flight and something. Man, what a way to pass the time. Hopefully you don't get it too much. And wasn't that my flight that just took off over there? I think that's a beautiful deal.
Yeah, juggle related delays is a real issue.
Yeah, exactly. But that ties into something that we're very passionate about, and that is talking about the visual and performing arts. And certainly, unless somebody has not been in the city for the last couple weeks, there's some challenges with funding and all that. So we want to just give a big shout out, convince your local politicians to make sure that this is so critical. Marcela, how do you get your funding from this? Because your performances are free.
Yes, our programs are free of charge. We do a lot of grant writing, a lot of storytelling, a lot of sharing with communities, a lot of presentations, and we do have foundations that support our programs, and that's how we kind of get the money here, and then we spread it to the community and to our programs. We also have individual donors. We have foundations that kind of support us year by year. We have a big list of donors, and if you like to donate, follow us in the page and donate. That's how we kind of have programs for free.
Yeah, and I think that's great, and it's just the exposure. Kristen, I know you're a big fan of that. Is just whether it's writing or whether it's the arts, or your husband works at the Fleet Center. It's just getting people exposed to this is so critical.
Yeah, absolutely. Kids especially, expose them to as many things as possible. And I think the social component is so important too for children, if you can integrate that into the arts, which, as we talk about, you can integrate anything into the arts, any sort of learning whatsoever. And
it's around us 24/7, 365. There's no question about it. So now talk about your work with the schools. Do you guys go into the schools? Do the schools come to you, or maybe a little bit of both?
Currently, we do partner up with one of the schools in City Heights, Central Elementary.
Right.
We have a minimum day program. Wednesday is their minimum day. It's the hardest day for parents to pick them up on an early day off.
Yeah,
pickup.
Right.
So we pick them up at 12:30. We walk them through Terralta Park. Then we make it to the Circus Center, and they have some circus fun. And parents pick them up at 2:30. They have some joy moments with the teaching artists. They have time with their friends. They have a fun afternoon. So that's the partner that we have right now with that school. In the future, we would like to expand that program and be in middle schools, be in high schools, so we can kind of have more connection with those students. I know the older kids, sometimes they say, oh, they're a little challenging, but I think sometimes that's what they need in their lives for them to kind of get involved. And I think that's something me and Catalina have been talking to, going to middle school, going to high school. We wrote a proposal, crossing our fingers, to kind of get the funding so we can go into middle and high school.
Yeah, so did you specialize in any type of circus stuff, Marcela? Were you a clown? Were you a juggler? Were you a dancer? Were you all of the above?
I had always wanted to be something in music or play an instrument.
Yeah.
But coming from my culture and my background, my parents didn't kind of support that. So I have 3 kids, and I always support that for them. And I think the only thing that I juggle is my life, my bills.
The only thing,
my
that's
kids.
A lot.
So that's the circus, family service, a lot of things. I worked in mental health services for 10 years in San Diego Unified. So primarily working with parents that needed to navigate the system. So kind of give them resources, listening to them, kind of be there for those families. That's what I did.
Yeah, well, we're all jugglers, I guess, at some
Yes.
point. You bring up a great point on that aspect of it. So are the neighborhood tour events, are they ending now, and do they start again, or they continue into June and July? How does that work?
Neighborhood tour is once a year.
So, okay, so then it's coming up, and this is it. Okay,
This is it.
Those two. Okay, I got it. And is it a funding issue? So if you had more money, you could do more neighborhood tours?
Currently, the funding that we got, it was from California State Parks. That's why we did 6 performances for free. Each of the performances is more than $10,000. So we have to make sure we kind of spread the money as we can and into the performances. So yes, you have 2 more opportunities to watch the neighborhood tour. It's great. It's something really fun. It's free. Come out to North Park or Azalea Park, May 16 and May 17 at 2 p.m.
Yeah, that sounds great. What's the website? How do people get a hold of you?
FernStreetCircus.com.
FernStreetCircus.com. Any final comments? I'll start with you on this, Catalina.
Just come out to the circus, plant some joy with us. We all need it. And find out more about us, support us, come join the circus, run away with it. And
Sold.
we're there for you.
Any other comments from you, Kristen?
No, I'm just happy that you guys are doing your thing. Thank you.
Absolutely. And any final words, Marcela?
Well, come out and see the circus for free.
That sounds good. Again, website one more time.
FernStreetCircus.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg with Cloudcast Media. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast. In our 20th year, brought to you by the fine folks at Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing very cool things in the community. Give the Fern Street Circus a look. They've been doing this very, very great stuff for many, many years. If you'll put a smile on your face, it'll calm down the anxiety in this world, and it'll be worth every bit of it. And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.